Hello, my name is Isaac Cooley. I'm currently a third year extern and going to be graduating in August of 2022. And I am here to talk about my externship experience. I'm currently at Newport Mesa Balance and Ear Institute in Newport Beach, California. Sorry if I'm looking to the side, I have notes that I wrote down because I will forget everything. Um, it's a private clinic, and its main population is adults and geriatrics. However, we occasionally see pediatrics just for hearing tests if they were referred to us by their primary. Um, but like the name states, we're mostly a vestibular clinic. We do some hearing stuff, but about 70 to 80% is vestibular. Um, the different services we provide when it comes to hearing, just the regular hearing tests. We do hearing aids. We mainly fit Phonak and Oticon. Those are our main two manufacturers. And we also do the lyric devices through Phonak, which are actually really cool. And I really love lyric devices. I fell in love with them. They're pretty good for the right patient. You just have to get the right patient. We do vestibular diagnostics, so all the testing you could think of: rotary chairs, VNGs, the Epley Omniax chair, which just does Dix Hall pikes and other maneuvers, VHIT, VEMPS, and CDP. Then we also do treatment, vestibular treatment, which basically consists of optokinetic lights, and we use machines like the big Vertec machines. And we just got Virtualis, which is a new um, virtual reality goggle therapy tool that's been used mostly by PTs, but we're trying to incorporate it as well. New things I have learned from this past year, which is crazy to think about. Year flies by. Anything Vistib. I feel like there's so much more to learn through Vistib that can't be taught in 3 short classes, which thank God for those 3 short classes because I got the fundamentals. And then from that, I was able to build during this past year. But anything Vistib, like I showed up to the clinic and I didn't know too much besides the fundamentals of it, which is good to have. And then treatment of Vistib, it was a lot different than I was expecting. It can be emotionally heavy, which can be hard sometimes, but it's rewarding when you see patients succeed. So it's a fun time. That kind of dives into new clinical skills that I have learned. I think number one would be counseling skills. This is one of those things that it's not really, it's hard to teach in class. So it's one of those things that you have to learn by practicing. And thankfully, I get a lot of practice through vestibular treatment just because of how emotionally heavy it can be. So learning how to counsel the patient and just talk with them and just be there with them when they just need someone to be there with, it's pretty good. It's hard, but I've definitely grown a lot, I think. Hopefully my preceptor could say the same. And then another skill I learned is how to manage nausea and throw up, which is very fun. Very fun days for me. I don't know, small little tricks I keep in my back pocket. Um, Another question was, what are patients that you remember? I think there's not really one that sticks out of my head, but we have a lot of patients because you do vestibular treatment with them. You get really close because you see them twice a week, and you really get to know them, and they're really fun when they're, I can't say this word, smart butts. When they realize that you can have fun in therapy, it just kind of makes the day go by fast and makes everything worthwhile. Um, yeah, so a lot of my uh, therapy patients are the ones that stick with me. Um, Something that my preceptor did that was really helpful was sitting down with me, especially at the beginning, and just going through case study through case study. The way that externships are treated at this location is great because they have like actual programs set up. So maybe your first 2 months you're diving deep into the hearing aspect of the clinic. The next 2 months you're diving deep into vestibular diagnostics of the clinic. And then another 2 months you're diving deep into treatment. Sometimes they overlap, but for the most part, they really try to teach you those specific things so that you could really get a good grasp on them, which is super helpful. I started with vestibular diagnostics and then went to treatment, and then my last rotation was hearing, just because I don't know, I feel like we get a lot of hearing in school, so it was nice to keep up with that. But yeah, sitting down, going through case studies with me, and kind of just, she would always be like, well, do you understand why? Like, what's the purpose? Why are we doing this? And that was really helpful. Just questioning, why are we doing this? Is this gonna help? Is it worth it? And she's always pointing back to evidence-based practices, so it's really good. What is a mistake I made, if not very many mistakes I made? One, I guess it was a big mistake. A patient came in and she was one of our vestibular patients, but she just wanted her hearing aid check at the same time. So we're like, you know what, we'll just do like a one-time thing. The hearing aid wasn't through us, it was through some other audiologist out of state. She's an out-of-state patient. So we're like, yeah, we'll clean it, we'll check it. And so I go back and I'm like trying to get the seashell off the receiver. And as I'm pulling it, it just breaks. It just like completely crumbles on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not in warranty. I can't send this back. The clinic's gonna have to pay for it. And they had to pay for it. So it was not good. So don't break other people's hearing aids. Lesson number one. For some reason, the audiologist, out-of-state audiologist, super glued the receiver into the seashell. So I was very confused. I blame it on that, but I'll also take the blame myself. What is something I wish I would have known? I think at the beginning I would have given myself more slack and just told myself like, hey, you don't know everything. And that during your first 2 months, you're going to come home exhausted because there's so much information being thrown at you. You don't have time to process it. So give yourself some grace over the first 2 months just because you're going to be tired. Just be patient. It's a process. Every day you're learning so much new information. So just be patient with it. This one's interesting. I would also say advocating for myself, sticking up for myself. There's some days where I felt as though I was just being pulled to be thrown on appointments so that I could do this audiologist's work. And so I wish, not that I didn't stick up for myself, I definitely would say something, but I wish it was more clear in expectations maybe. Yes, and then any advice for future students? I would say, like I said, be patient with yourself. You're not going to learn everything at school. You're going to learn it actually doing it. So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and it's okay because you're a student. Just keep pushing through, and continue to remind yourself to make the best out of a bad situation. Let's say an appointment doesn't go the way you wanted it to, just reflect back and, well, it could have been worse, or find certain things that you did good during that appointment and focus on that to start, and then reflect and focus on things that you could improve on. And then lastly, this is just allow yourself to become friends with your coworkers. I think it's easy at the beginning to be like, no, like I'm a student and they're a peer, but don't necessarily think of it that way in terms of you can't connect with them, because they want to be your friend. They want to get to know you. You're there for a full year. So just don't push yourself away and be like, I'm only here to clock in and clock out, because that's going to get very boring really quick. And you're eventually going to get burnt out. And I don't know, we spend most of our lives out of jobs, so why not become friends with the people we're with? So that is my experience at Newport Mesa Balance and Ear Institute. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. I think you have my school email, or you could get in contact with me through Dr. Westrick. So again, please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. And I loved it. I had a great time. I'm staying on board, which is pretty cool. Just to continue to grow myself in everything there is to know vestibular wise. So thanks for listening. Sorry this was kind of long. I just had a lot to talk about. Bye.